What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Captain Marvel issue number 47. This is Revenge of the Brood, part number 5. As Captain Marvel and members of the X-Men sit out here in space, they are trying to free everybody from the grasp of this alien race. But as they venture further and further into this hive mind, they are learning that this seems more like a trap, with our team breaking up into two different teams. One goes looking for Rogue, the other goes looking for Binary. Each team was attacked individually by the swarm of Brood, and Hazmat having no choice but to release a massive radiation blast. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with the beautiful Captain Marvel, having Psylocke and Spider-Woman by her side. They are doing everything they can to fight off this horde that has descended down on top of them. What's even more is that Captain Marvel had to stop the blast, the nuclear explosion that was called Hazmat. That's where we pick up on the western slope. Hazmat has just gone nuclear, and in doing so, she took out the good majority of the enemies that stood before them. But in that blast, we see that Laura was severely hurt. She had stayed outside of the bubble, making sure that no one was able to touch Hazmat. Luckily, she has a very good and strong healing factor. It's going to take her a minute to heal up, but she's going to be okay. As they get Wolverine up to her feet, they can all hear the scream from Psylocke. Every single one of them heard this. Now knowing that they are alive, and now knowing that they found Binary. This means that they can head back to their ship. They can get back to the rendezvous point and try and get out of here. And so the team works to get Rogue out of her constraints. With Rogue in such a weakened position, that's where Wolverine goes over and gives her a hug, sharing her healing factor. That way Rogue can power back up. On the other side, we see that Captain Marvel, Psylocke, and Spider-Woman are trying to get Binary out of her constraints. With Captain Marvel using very precise blasts, she is able to break the connection that they have put onto Binary. But as they are doing this, they quickly realize that someone has to stay in her place. Psylocke lets us know that one of these monsters inside of their mind, they didn't really explain it, but they were thinking that if one leaves, another must take its place. They don't understand the significance of why just yet, but they do know it is something that they have to do if all of them plan to make it off this planet. And so, of course, Captain Marvel is the one to step up, telling Jessica that this is the only way to get Binary out of here, to regroup with the others, and when you can, come back for me, preferably with your own army. And so, as these organic connections begin to grab hold of Captain Marvel, Psylocke and Spider-Woman grab Binary and they try to get her out of here. Psylocke is able to sense that she is still alive. There is a lot of pain inside of her. Her thoughts are so very chaotic, but she is alive. With Polaris and the rest of their team being able to make their way towards Psylocke, in communication telepathically the whole way, they let it be known that they are near the rendezvous point. But recognizing the situation that Captain Marvel and the rest of them are in, they know that they should probably head over to them. As Rogue starts to really get her strength back, she was attached to them for quite some time. They had attacked her ship. She did everything she could to hold them off. But the sheer numbers that they had attacked her with was too much. But being the captive of the Brood, she did learn a great deal about them. They blamed the Kree for creating the King Egg that forced her and her hive under Brood's control, being able to break free because of Nightmare. Rogue and the others are unaware of this just yet, but down on Arakko, this is exactly what we have seen unfold in the pages of X-Men. They still believe that Carol is their key to destroying the Kree once and for all. Not only that, they have all been impregnated, some of them at least, with something new. They are no longer satisfied with simply gestating their young and superpowered people to create a single BROOD with superpowers. They want an infinite army, all with superpowers. Thanks to Rogue and Wolverine having their powers, they are considered liabilities. But Carol is being saved for something else. This is where Captain Marvel begins to understand that Binary's captivity and torture was all so that they could get her here. But she tells the team that nothing has changed. To get Binary evacuated to the ship, get her safely to the medbay, and when you can, come back for me. With Wolverine letting it be known that the Thunderbird is still docked and it is still cloaked. With Rogue in this weakened position, Hazmat takes her to the ship, while the other three head off to help Captain Marvel and the others. And with Hazmat getting Rogue on board, the two of them have a quick conversation. Now, these two have never really had the opportunity to sit down and have a real conversation. Hazmat has always wanted to actually meet Rogue, to have a proper introduction and have a proper conversation. Hazmat had heard about the really traumatic experiences when her powers had first kicked in, much like they had happened to herself. You see, these two have very unique powers that can hurt people, especially when they first manifest and they don't really understand the true extent of what they are capable of. And so for Hazmat, it's really just nice to meet somebody who doesn't have these powers as a gift per se, but saw it as a curse in the beginning, that has endured the trauma and experiences that the other has. I mean, Rogue even started out as a villain, but to look at what she has become today, it gives her hope on what she might become one day. Now, taking us over to Psylocke and Spider-Woman, the hive mind is still descending down on top of them. They are battling the best they can. The others have yet to reach them. The day looks dire. They are getting overwhelmed and this swarm is just too much. That's when Psylocke senses that something new is coming. There is another presence, something that is very powerful. With Spider-Woman, Psylocke all being knocked unconscious, Captain Marvel tied up to this machine. That is where the Empress comes into play. Captain Marvel knew that they wanted her powers since they first coaxed them out of her, but perhaps it was always something else. Maybe that this is that something else. And if she's being honest with herself, this doesn't feel like something that you survive. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Definitely a fun issue. We're finally starting to understand what is truly going on here. And this is a battle that is being fought on multiple fronts. We have BROOD. He is supposed to be the one in charge of the entire hive mind, not knowing that Nightmare has been manipulating him at night. He has been going into his dreams, and he has been taking control. He has been giving the Empress control. And so while BROOD sleeps, the Empress does whatever it is she chooses to do with the hive. And BROOD has been left completely unaware of what is truly going on. And so while the X-Men have been trying to figure all of that out, Captain Marvel was simply trying to rescue her friend. Now she has found out that this was all a trap to lure her in, because they want Captain Marvel's power. They want to take down the Kree once and for all. They believe that she is the weapon. We don't know exactly how, but we do know that this is about to be something big. And so with Captain Marvel in the grasp of the Empress, with our other heroes trying to make it there to save them in the nick of time, can they make it? Or is the Empress about to turn Captain Marvel into the ultimate weapon? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with Captain Marvel, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50. From loyalty badges to getting comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.